In today's very unusual climate and culture, it has never been more important to address the need for resilient-minded living. In the face of the pandemic, which is still very much with all of us, we have all been forced in all arenas of our lives to find different ways to get things done, and oftentimes doing more with less. This not only places twice the amount of stress on all of us, it taxes those in the leadership positions around us that have to disseminate the information, and oftentimes without a lot of information to disseminate. These times are unprecedented and come with no playbook. If ever there was a time that the human race needed to know that we can count on one another because we are all in this together and we all matter, it is now. We need to put our money where our mouth is, roll up our sleeves, and truly seek to help one another, especially as we approach the winter months and try to avoid the winter blues. In essence, we are trying to create a culture and an environment that says we care and we matter, regardless of what our title is. This is what resilient-minded people do. This is how we approach resilient-minded living. It is the ability to cope and adapt to disruptive changes and the ability to bounce back. And we do this without engaging in disruptive and dysfunctional behaviors that can cause harm to ourselves and others. Although this can be difficult for all of us, it works much better when we come from a place of authenticity, genuineness, caring, and concern, no judgment, and a true desire to connect and communicate, share accurate information, and above all, work together, come together, and be together. Brené Brown says it best, that in the absence of information in any realm of our life, we will make up our own stories. This in turn adds to our uncertainty, increases anxiety, perpetuates the rumor mill, and despair. As resilient-minded people, we need to keep the 7 C's of resiliency in our sights. And that looks like this. Compassion. If we come from a place of compassion for those around us, with the understanding that we have more than some and less than others, but what matters the most is that we find times and points and ways to connect. We will look at things differently from a different lens. We're not providing excuses, but we're also not jumping to conclusions. We just may unearth a reason for what we are seeing. If we are considerate, mutual respect for one another. This says that I may not agree with you, but out of respect for you, and how you see it, I will listen. Depending on our upbringing, our culture, our religious practice, and personalities, we may view things differently. Not right or wrong, just different. And it's important that we connect and be considerate of all around us. Clarity. Brené says it the best, clear is kind and unclear is unkind. It's so important that the information we share with one another in any aspect of our life is as close to the truth as we know it to be, and we leave no room for misinterpretation. A quick example of this is somebody walks in and hands you something and says, "Put this over there," as opposed to, "Would you please put this by my desk?" It might be a little bit more typing in an email or a few more words spoken, but it makes things so much easier. Curiosity, a big one for all of us. Being curious about the people that we work with, the people that we share life with, and the people that we communicate with. Getting to know the person, not just the job. Being curious about their aspirations, their families. Being curious as the winter months come. Do they have somebody to go home to? Being curious as the holidays approach. How are they sharing the holidays, or are they not? Contribution. Allowing everybody around us to feel that they are valued and needed, and that without them, the contribution is different. Letting them know that they matter. Believing that they are capable, and allowing them to know that they are capable. And then, of course, circling back. Never leave something undone or not tapped into. Remember, resilient-minded people possess the qualities and characteristics that allow for mistakes, being imperfect, that allow us to want to connect with our set of values that says, you matter to me. Let's look quickly at some ways that we can try to reduce holiday stress. First and foremost, we need to acknowledge our feelings. If someone close to you has recently died, or you're experiencing loss during this season, or perhaps the absence of just being with loved ones, this can evoke unpleasant feelings. You may want to cry. You may need to cry. You may have to find a way to reach out and seek out assistance, and that's okay. Reaching out. Do not sit and feel lonely and isolated. That may be a pattern that's been in your life, and in these times we need to break that pattern. Many websites have online supports. Many of us need to step up and just learn how to ask for help. If we create the climate and cultures around us, asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. Be realistic. The holidays don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be like last year or the year before. As we change and grow, as things come to fruition, choose to hold on to a few things, but be open and creative to new. Set time aside for differences. Try to accept family members and friends for who they are and what they are, without having expectations. Be understanding if others get upset or distressed, because we all are feeling those feelings and emotions that we don't necessarily have words for. Stick to your budget. Finances can be huge stressors during the holiday time. Remember, it's not about what you spend, it's who you spend it on. Plan ahead. Learn to say no. Don't abandon healthy habits. Most importantly, unplug. Try to avoid social media. Try to stay off your phone. Try to not get all wrapped up in the news. And most of all, try to enjoy being with people, not just in the presence of people. And lastly, learning how to reach out to our colleagues, our families, and friends. We can do this by sending emails, picking up the phone and having a phone call. How about a drop-off? A little card, a plant, a trinket of some kind left on their porch for them to get up to. Setting up group chats for fun, not necessarily work. And most importantly, if it's able to be done, the gift of yourself and your time. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. Be safe, be happy, and be healthy.